Hello, friends. I'm Jimmy Bitton, and welcome to a special vacation edition of Echoes of Jewish History. I'm recording this impromptu episode from Tuscany, so forgive the sound quality. It's not my studio mic, but what happened here demanded to be shared. Before we begin, a quick note. Our next full-length episode, Echoes of Islamic Antisemitism, When the Tree Speaks, will drop shortly when I return to Toronto. It's an in-depth look at how ancient texts shape modern hatred, and I hope you'll join me for it. Also, a small but meaningful milestone. The Echoes community has now grown past 500 listeners on Spotify. I want to thank you for being part of this journey. Whether you've been with me from the start or just joined, if you've found this podcast meaningful, please consider clicking follow and sharing it with a friend. That's how the Echoes of Jewish History community grows, person to person, soul to soul. A few days ago, I was walking through a small Tuscan town, sunlight on stone walls, flowers on windowsills, when something unexpected caught my eye. Outside a small shop, there were three posters: Stop Bombing Gaza, Stop Occupation, handwritten in chalk, Zionists not welcome here, and a photo of Orthodox Jews holding Free Palestine signs. I stepped inside. An elderly man greeted me. I said, "I'm Jewish and a Zionist. Can we talk?" He didn't flinch. He said warmly, "I have Jewish friends from Rome, but I oppose Zionism." I explained Zionism is simply the belief that Jews, after centuries of persecution, have the right to life and self-determination in their ancestral land. He persisted, "But Israel kills Palestinians. Look at the children." "What about the children?" he said. I gently pointed to a t-shirt he had hanging behind him with the Hezbollah logo. "Do you know what this stands for?" I asked. He didn't. I told him. Hezbollah's charter explicitly calls for the extermination of Jews, not just Israelis. He paused. The energy in the room shifted. And then, without drama, he walked outside and quietly took down the Zionist not welcome sign. What haunts me about this moment is not what Marco said, but how he said it. He was calm, kind, and he genuinely believed he was doing something good, something righteous. He believed he was standing for justice. That's what makes this so profoundly disturbing. In his moral schema, justice means siding with whoever appears weak and opposing whoever appears powerful, even if the facts are inverted. This is what Douglas Murray calls the aesthetic of justice, a morality based more on optics than substance. And as Sam Harris warns, when ethical thinking is reduced to feelings, images, or slogans, morality loses context, and the world divides into villains and victims, no questions asked. Marco wasn't intentionally anti-Semitic, but his worldview, assumingly absorbed from hashtags and headlines, allowed anti-Semitism to be normalized, even moralized. And that's the truly frightening part. I told Marco something I'll now share with you. During World War II, Mussolini, right here in Italy, rounded up thousands of Jews and sent them to Auschwitz. Zionism was how their children survived. So that sign outside, "Zionists not welcome here," that would have excluded the very people Mussolini wanted to annihilate. That's the historical irony. When memory fades, justice becomes untethered. And when narratives erase the actual victims of history, anti-Semitism can be recast as compassion. This isn't just a Tuscan anecdote. It's a mirror, reflecting a global confusion we're living through. Symbols replacing truth, slogans replacing nuance, virtue signaling replacing virtue. There are echoes in this story, echoes of moral performance in place of critical thought, and echoes of selective empathy posing as universal justice. Thank you for listening. I'll be back with our next full episode, episode 3, Echoes of Islamic Antisemitism, When the Tree Speaks. A deep dive into theology, history, and modern jihadist hatred. Until then, listen for the echoes, because sometimes they don't scream, sometimes they smile. And that's when we must listen most closely. Thank you for listening to Echoes of Jewish History. If this episode brought new insight or raised new questions, I invite you to share it, reflect on it, and continue the conversation. Mostly to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe.